All right, all right, all right. Wouldn't it be cool if every day, all day, every day could be spent AMXing books? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't it be awesome if all stinking day, like CNN is 24 hours news, if AMXbooks and the Spaniard Show was 24 hours of books? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm trying to build. And I thank you for being here with me. 6:43 on where we at, November 28th. Just got back from the gym. Yeah, I might look a little swole. Actually, I don't look swole. So, a very close person in my life mentioned how I just may look like my little nephew. I work so hard. I work so hard in the gym. That tells me I just got to start eating some more food. I got to start eating some more food. All right, let's dive in. We're diving into a new book today, The Boys in the Boat. And let me tell you, believe me, you, my friends, I am excited to read this book. Let me clear my throat. Let us start this unforgettable journey together. That is The Boys in the Boat. 1, 2, 3. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Spaniard Show. This is AMXbooks 623, and I am super, uber, cherry on top excited to start this book that I'm going to talk about today. This book is called The Boys in the Boat. The Boys in the Boat, subtitle, 9 Americans in their epic quest for gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Let me tell you this. When this book was brought to the table by none other than Dredd, I knew nothing about it. Dredd's enthusiasm, the way he talked about this book, made me think, wow, this might just be something that I should read. And then, when I went on Amazon to check it out and saw that there were, this is as of last night, 20,813 reviews on Amazon. 20,813 reviews on Amazon. 82% of them 5-star, 13% of them 4-star. That's 95% of them 4 and 5-star. That tells me I should read this book. Now, mind you, I knew nothing about this book when I started. I knew nothing about 9 Americans in their epic quest for gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. As such, I'm learning as I'm teaching. So there are things in this book that I might guess wrong. I might assume. It's a piece of history. It's written in history, but it was a piece of history that I didn't know about. Now, in the prologue, so I got a whopping 3 pages in today's. I always try to spread my books out such that I can get through them in X amount of time. I only got through the first 3 pages because there was such wealth and such richness in this writing style. Daniel James Brown is the author. Tremendous writing style, tremendous depth to this story. Author Daniel Brown, now at the beginning of the book there's a prologue. So author Daniel James Brown in the prologue is talking to us, setting the premise, setting for what's about to come in this book. So at the beginning of the book in the prologue, author Daniel James Brown is reflecting on what he knew of Joe Rance upon embarking on this book. So he's talking to us after having written the book. He's telling us what it was like when he first sat down with Joe Rance, whom you're going to get to know. And he says this. The author knew 2 things about Joe Rance. One, that he built by hand this 2,200-foot square fence that surrounds his pasture, right? And he built it from scratch. So he went to the mountain, cut the trees down, brought them down, cut them, stuck them in the ground, this 2,200 linear foot fence. Okay, so that's telling us this guy likes to work hard. This guy understands work. Number 2, this is what the author knew of Joe Rance. And this is later in Joe's life as he was actually dying, as he was passing away. These were his last days, his last months. I'll find out more clearly. But the author knew this, quote, that Joe, quote, had been one of the 9 young men from the state of Washington, farm boys, fishermen, and loggers, who shocked both the rowing world and Adolf Hitler by winning the gold medal in 8-oared rowing at the 1936 Olympics. I have chills up and down my spine as I'm reading that. That Joe, our main character, had been one of 9 young men from the state of Washington, farm boys, fishermen, and loggers, who shocked both the rowing world and Adolf Hitler by winning the gold medal in 8-oared rowing at the 1936 Olympics. That's the story. That's the premise that we're diving into, and that's what I love. 9 9 young men from the state of farm boys, fishermen, loggers. These come from behind. These shouldn't be able to do that. These young men and these coaches and this town and this state and this country who believed in something, who got behind something. That's the fire. That's what touches my soul when I read this book. In the prologue as well, the author's talking with Joe and his daughter. So he sets the premise. He goes to Joe's house. He's sitting there talking with his daughter, Judy, talking with Joe later in his life, and he's saying, hey, I'd love to tell your story. So the author's asking questions, taking notes, and he notes, the author tells us that only when talking about, quote, the boat, did Joe get emotional. Quote, the boat was something more than just the shell or its crew. There's also, this out of quote here, there's also some rowing. I'm learning about the sport of rowing, the culture of rowing, the history of rowing. I know nothing about it other than when I drive into Philadelphia on the Schuylkill, I see the docks and the boathouses and the boats in the water. That's all I know. So I'm learning about this the sport as well. But quote, the boat was something more than just the shell or its crew. To Joe, it encompassed but transcended both. It was mysterious and almost beyond definition. It was a shared experience. I talk a lot about connection. I talk a lot about purpose. I talk a lot about hard work and determination and sacrifice and discipline. This story, the 9 Americans in their epic quest for gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics, encompasses all of that. And as I'm reading this book and I'm becoming part of the book and I'm just fascinated, and wait till you hear the elements, the weather. They're in the state of Washington. They're rowing in the winter. Trust me, these men are made of something. I remember Dan Gable, there's a quote from Dan Gable that says, gold medals aren't really made of gold. They're made of sweat, determination, and a hard-to-find alloy called guts. These boys, these men have guts. And to me, that's inspiring. To me, that's what I aspire to have. In summation, it was, quote, when 9 good-hearted young men strove together, pulled together as one, gave everything they had for one another, bound together forever by pride and respect and love. Joe was crying, at least in part for the loss of that vanished moment, but much more, I think, for the sheer beauty of it. Reflecting on something beautiful, reflecting on a shared experience, reflecting on bounding together forever by pride and respect and love, giving everything. When do you give everything you have? Right? It doesn't matter if you're pursuing a gold medal. It doesn't matter if you're pursuing an Olympic medal. It doesn't matter. In your day-to-day, are you giving all that you have? Every ounce of you. When you think you have it tough, and then you hear, as I'm going to talk about these guys training and rowing, the adversity and the things that our main character Joe Ranch goes through. It's giving me a dose of perspective. It's giving me a dose of wow. If he can do it, I can do it. A dose of connection as well. And to show you the type of person that Joe is, and I'm assuming the rest of these guys are, he said to the author, sure, you can tell my story, quote, but not just about me. It has to be about the boat. So it has to be about the boat, about the guys, about the experience, that shared experience. This is about hopes, and this is about dreams, and this is about goodness and purity and giving yourself up to something greater than yourself. This is what it's all about. I hope you come back tomorrow for AMX Books 624. The book that we're currently studying is The Boys in the Boat by author Daniel James Brown. I encourage you, check this book out. Check out all the other books I talk about at charliespaniard.com/reading list. Consider checking us out on social media at Charlie Spaniard. And if you would like to directly help support the Spaniard Show, you can go to patreon.com/Charlie Spaniard for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month. You can help support. It's almost like you know what it's like? You know where I'm taking my inspiration from? Mr. Rogers in public broadcasting. Mr. Rogers believed in what he was doing, and he believed that there were people, companies, whomever out there who believed in the power of learning and the power of education, and that's what I'm banking on. Patreon.com/Charlie Spaniard. Read a book. I'll see you tomorrow for AMX Books 624. I see a lot of regular faces here, and if you'd like to help support the Spaniard Show, Patreon, patreon.com/Charlie Spaniard. The link will be in this video or down below in the show notes, or if you're listening on the podcast app or feed, it'll be in those show notes as well. I'll be back tomorrow for AMX Books 624.